All right, peace and blessings to the fam. Peace and blessings. It's your boy Ray Imperial. It's the Flame Keeper, and I want to do a quick follow up to last week's live. What's in a dog man stew? Diet and nutrition, and this is diet and nutrition the Imperial way, right? This is how I do my dogs, man. So I'm not going to actually prepare all of this in front of y'all tonight, but I am going to sit back and discuss a little bit of this, why I put what I put in my dog's food, right? It's great to say, I put this in there, but, this is a little bit of the why. So, to start with, you know, we have wheat germ oil, right? This comes with vitamins A and D, right? This is 100% wheat germ oil, right? And it's important to get the 100% wheat germ oil. You want to avoid like the soybean hybrid that they use. Wheat germ oil is great for the dog's coat. Wheat germ oil is also a carrier oil, right? Which means that you can actually mix other things in with it, and the wheat germ oil will carry that with it. So, in terms of other nutrients and all of that that you're putting in the dog, this is a great fat for the dog. Now, raw feed, it sounds a little bit almost backwards to be starting with your fats, right? And that's all your oils are. They're fats. But that's what I always start with. This is actually the basis of my dog man mush. My oils and my fats. There are other things that you can include that you won't see here today, that you'll see in maybe future videos. But this is what's on deck today, and this is what we're feeding tonight, right? So, along with that wheat germ oil, we have the 100% organic coconut oil, right? And the 100% organic coconut oil, you see that this is all liquid. And depending upon the temperature, this may be a solid at times. But this is also part of the base. Again, great for the dog's stomach lining, great for the dog's coat, great for the overall health, internal health of the dog. Coconut oil does wonders not only for your dog, but for you as well. Keep that in mind. Right? Now, this is a little bit more of a rarity amongst most people. As you see, it has an Arabic label, but this is what you call your black seed oil, right? Black seed oil is great for the dog's immune system. Be careful how you dose this when you feed it to the dog, because it does taste like a number two pencil, right? But black seed oil is another oil that is great for you as well as for the dog. Primarily in terms of the immune system and the digestive system, great stuff there. So those are some of the fats that you can incorporate, in starting out with your dog man stew, right? Or at least this is kind of how I rock with it. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not point out here that food for me is nutrition. Or rather, nutrition for me means medicine, right? Or food is medicine in terms of how I deal with my dog. So you'll see here that I have this German style sauerkraut. And the German style sauerkraut, this is primarily for probiotics. So we'll actually give a little bit of this leaf, but we want the juices in here. And we pour those juices right in with our oils, right? Slightly fermented is what sauerkraut is. Slightly fermented cabbage is what sauerkraut is. So again, in terms of offering probiotics, healthy sort of bacteria to your dog's body, right? If that makes sense. But it helps to clean up the inside of the dog, so to speak. Um, so with my big boy, I make sure he's got a little turmeric to make sure that as he gets older, he slows down a little bit. We don't have no unnecessary swelling. So that's turmeric. For the young boy, for Solo, we include a little dash of cinnamon. This helps with the growth, right? And it allows the body to gain more from the food that's being put in it, right? Put it that way. So that's some of kind of like the base. Normally, this is the stuff that'll go in the bowl first. Um, if I'm doing any type of organ meat for the night, like it's not happening tonight because this stuff is still frozen. But I'll come with the chicken livers, right? So you can use chicken livers or beef liver for your organ meat or whatever you choose. Sometimes I'll have the whole chicken, so I'll feed gizzards, I'll feed heart, any of that. It's all considered organ meat, so that goes well. So your fats, and with what we're feeding in terms of the beef, right? And this is our protein, and it's also a fat. And this is what I love about this stuff, right? Anything that gives me both protein and fat in the same source is always a winner for me. You can see this was a 10-pound package. There's about maybe a pound, give or take, left in the bag. So, we go through that stuff fairly regularly. I usually try to serve about a pound, give or take, per dog, per feeding when I'm using it. Now, with Bull, I go a little bit lighter, but with Raina and Solo, I go a little heavier, right? Because they're younger and they're using more. They're active. Solo's body just requires more. Period. Like, you're not going to get away with not feeding that dog. Now, you can't see it clearly here. This is kind of knocked off. But, as a matter of fact, these are two halves of the same piece. So, this is the other half. But you'll see here, this is 73% fat, 73% protein, 27% fat. Or it may say 73% lean and then 27% fat. This is probably one of the most overlooked ways to really change what your dog is looking like, right? Or the type of structure that your dog is carrying. So, for example, the 27% fat is great, especially in the wintertime, right? So you have your other more soluble fats, right? They're more easily digested. And then this is actually a fat that comes with your protein. So this being 27% fat, you don't have to go overboard with this stuff. It'll do its job along with that 73% protein. Now, in the summertime, you want to see a little bit more structure on your dog, right? You want to see the dog looking a little leaner. You would change this 73-27 to maybe 80-20, right? Or if you can even get down like 90-10, 91-9, there are places where you can actually get that. So, that's not the bad, that's not the worst option in the world. If you ever want to see the difference between, the amount of fat that goes into the dog, take a 73% ground beef, make yourself a burger out of that, and then in another pan, take say an 80-20 ground beef pack and cook that in a separate pan and look at the difference in the fat runoff, in the grease runoff. So you have a clear idea of, the difference in what you're actually putting into the dog, on a seasonal basis. If, like, for most people, you feed heavier in the wintertime, then your ground beef with the 27% fat is always a good way to go, right? But that's not to say that that's the next thing I put in after I put in these fats. I just happen to be discussing fats right now, so I got into that right there. But what usually goes in next is what you have here, which is it's basically a fruit puree, right? A fruit vegetable puree. So here you have carrots and apples, um, and I'll serve a healthy helping of this per dog. Now, what is this? This is a healthy filler, right? Dogs are not normally plant eaters, right? Anytime they do eat, you know, the canine species overall, if it's eating any type of real vegetable matter, it's usually from the intestines of prey, right? That's how wolves get their so-called vegetables. And there's a reason for that, right? You see animals like elephants and giraffes, hippopotamus, that are predominantly, even deer, right? They are herbivores. All they eat is plant matter. They have very large intestines, right? Whereas dogs, because they are predominantly meat eaters, their bodies survive on protein. Uh, they don't have very large intestines, right? Food processes for them really quickly. The reason that you have these larger mammals who only eat leaves, right? These vegetarians who only, why are they so big if they vegetarians, right? Vegetarians, us, we vegetarians supposed to knock off some weight for you. Well, the fact of the matter is, it takes a longer time to process raw plant matter. The intestines have to be larger because it requires a great deal more to break that down into the proteins, amino acids, and etc. that the body needs in order to function, right? So protein is a much quicker source to that. It breaks down much quicker, goes right to the enzymes, the amino acids, breaking those nutrients down into the amino acids and the enzymes that the body needs to function properly. So I include fruit matter, right? Carrots, right? Very good in terms of, providing, let's just say, good reproduction assistance, right? They say if you ever wonder why rabbits breed like they do, get you some carrots. But uh, I like the carrot to apple mix. It is a very healthy mix. It provides both roughage for the dog, and it provides those nutrients, those trace nutrients and minerals that they would normally get from plant matter that they don't have the opportunity to get from prey, right? Because normally they would get that from the intestines of prey. It would be already fully digested. And so for that reason, I go ahead and I puree it. I break it down so that it's very easily digestible for them, right? So that's that. Of course, you have your raw eggs, right? Your raw eggs kind of staple in the diet. If they don't get one of these every day, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 days a week they may not get an egg, but for the most part, raw egg every day. The old head, I may take the calcium out. He don't mess with the shell too tough. The young ones, they run through the shells, no problem. They be looking for more. So I just break that up, mix it right in there. Um, then you have your garlic, right? And your garlic is designed as a your raw garlic. It's designed as a an assistance to deworming, right? And I think that's very important that when you're feeding raw, you keep your parasites at bay by all natural regular deworming methods. Again, food is medicine, right? So that's why, you know, if I want to use a filler, I'm not going to corn. I'm not going to, something that really has no nutritional value for the dog. I'm going to go to something that actually the dog can benefit from, right? Because food is medicine. Again, food is medicine. Again, are a great source of both what? Fats and protein. In addition, the shell gives you calcium, right? So, if you ever really pay attention to animals, especially the dogs, they tell you what the best stuff for them is because it's stuff they'll get in trouble over. Chicken, eggs, you know what I mean? Dogs are getting trouble over this stuff, man. So, just bear with me on it. If you ever see, when dogs eat or even when wolves catch prey and they start eating, a lot of times they go right into the gut, right into the intestines, right? You have to ask yourself why, right? They intuitively know what is best for their bodies, and that's what they go and get. So, very important. Um, of course, you know, you gotta have some fish, right? I like to feed the mackerel. This is mackerel and spring water. I don't use any of the oils that typically come with this fish stuff. The um the omegas in the fish itself are more than enough to add to the oils and the fats that we've already included, right? The coconut oil, the black seed oil, the wheat germ oil, and then in addition to that, you're gonna have some fats and protein coming out of your fish, right? Because this goes in with the skin on. We don't remove anything. We feed it all to the dog just as is, right? Just like they would eat it in the wild. It's just how I give it up there. Um, let's see. Did I forget anything here? All right, so that just about covers everything that's here. Now I know it looks like a lot, right? But it's really not. It's really not. It's not a whole lot. Um, Once it goes in the dog's bowl, I don't serve them enough so that it's heavy on their stomach, right? The dog should be able to sleep comfortably, get up the next day the same way you would want to. You wouldn't want to be loaded down trying to go to sleep, right? So feed them enough to where they can, you know, uh, have what they need to recover from the day's work if there was any, and then go ahead and just kind of relax, be able to go to sleep, and their bodies have just enough. Now, if it's one of those days and it's like that, you can go ahead and put your dine in, right? So you have your dine, and you also have your red cell, right? So those are two options that you have in terms of extra trace vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. As you can see, this one is iron rich, right? And you can see that it's a vitamin iron mineral supplement. Of course, this says for all classes of horses, so you want to be mindful of exactly how you distribute, right? Okay. All right. So that's really it for this evening. This is kind of what's going into the Dog Man Stew tonight. Uh, it is that time of the month, so um, we will be going in with some extra deworming besides the garlic, right? Um, I will do everything possible to keep it as all natural as possible. But there are some things where, it just seems like for the time being, this works best, has worked the best of everything that I've tried. I haven't tried just straight pumpkin seed powder yet. Haven't really been able to get hold of it like that, not in the quantity that I would need it to feed, my dogs on an everyday basis. So there is definitely that. Um, the other thing is that parental paste, this parental palmate, man, this is for Solo, right? He's 11 months old. This will be his last time using this stuff. Um, and when he turns a year old, he will be able to go over to the big dog stuff, which is the ivermectin, right? Now, it doesn't hurt to use both. I wouldn't say so. Solo shouldn't get the ivermectin because that's more for heartworm, right? And he's not quite a year old. You don't administer heartworm medication. At least that's the conventional thought before the dog is a year old. If it was up to me, I'd have gave it to him when he was 7 months old. I mean, his heart, he's a big dog. That means you see the size of his chest. His lungs, his heart have to be a very large size. This is a dog that could use certain treatments early, but we're gonna follow the conventional wisdom on this. um but all right, so then once he turns a year old, he will get the ivermectin. Both Bull and Rainer will get the ivermectin tonight. So that does it for tonight's dog man stew. What's in the dog man stew, and a follow up on our diet and nutrition live. Haven't really decided what this week's live is going to be about, but we're going to be there Sunday, 7 p.m. Fire Chat live. All are welcome. Come through. Peace and blessings. Imperial Flame Kennels. Y'all keep the heat.